Here's your news for November 30th, 2019. We're starting off by looking at Smackdown today, as the Blue brand once again revealed a new championship design. This week, fans were promised a new face on the Firefly Fun House, and though we did get that, it wasn't what fans expected. Instead of the speculated Liv Morgan, Wyatt said that it was only fair that if he has a new title design, then so should The Fiend, and revealed a disturbing new look for the Universal title with The Fiend's own face. This is the third new title design in 3 weeks on SmackDown, as last week saw Shinsuke Nakamura be crowned with a new Intercontinental Championship, replacing the prior design instigated at Hell in a Cell 2011 by Cody Rhodes. The week prior saw Wyatt himself reveal the redesigned Universal title, which now features a blue strap to reflect the Gold's new home on SmackDown. Since returning at SummerSlam, Wyatt has been one of the WWE's most striking characters, and this new title, designed by the studios of horror movies effects legend Tom Savini, looks like it would fit right at home in one of his films. Unsurprisingly, the company didn't wait long to put replicas of the monstrous new championship on their official WWE shop website, as fans will be able to pre-order the Gold tomorrow, with each title being individually handcrafted and numbered, showing just how limited the item will be. For fans of The Fiend who may not have the time or money to pre-order the rare piece of gold, there's still plenty of Wyatt merch to go around, including the new Wyatt severed head Fiend lanterns. The lantern, which depicts Bray's severed head with the eyes stitched closed, is $100 on WWE Shop, so hopefully they're of a high quality. Fans got their first glimpse of the demonic lantern at SummerSlam when The Fiend debuted to destroy Finn Balor, and the prop has become one of the most popular parts of the beloved but bizarre character. The lantern will no doubt make a practical Christmas gift for fans trying to navigate their homes in the dark, but people who aren't fans are bound to be confused. From Eaters of Worlds to the Queen of Spades now, as Shayna Baszler continues to be on a wave of momentum after winning at Survivor Series. Defeating both Becky Lynch and Bayley in the main event, Baszler's celebration was short-lived, as she was attacked by the man post-match who celebrated to close out the show. It now seems that WWE have dropped a major hint for their plans between the two, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that the plan is for the man versus the Queen of Spades for Baszler's first major feud on the main roster. The report states, "The idea of the match, and really the entire angle, was for Baszler. Baszler carries herself and talks like a badass bully. The original plan was for her to be on the main roster in 2020. Based on so much of the build and the match and post-match, it appeared she was being groomed for Lynch. With her history as a UFC fighter and her incredibly successful transition to pro wrestling, the sky's the limit for Baszler, as fans still wonder who will be the one to take her NXT Women's Championship." From NXT to AEW now, as while Cody Rhodes may be a distant memory in WWE, the former Intercontinental Champion is trying to grab every name that Vince McMahon has forgotten about. Connection to his father, who was a dominant force in WCW, Rhodes has tried to trademark several names from the defunct promotion, and though he doesn't own War Games, he does own the match's moniker of The Match Beyond, and WWE didn't use this during commentary at all during this year's huge contest last week. Interestingly, Cody also owns the rights to the American Dream name as well, as it was the same name that helped make his father a huge star. Now, the Wrestling Observer is noting that Cody's goal is to own all the ideas and names that his father came up with, and has filed new trademarks for both Super Brawl and Slamboree. This hasn't gone unnoticed by WWE, as they've already tried to block AEW from using Bash at the Beach for an event in January. As the report reads, WWE is opposing his claims on at least some of them. Cody has been trying to gain ownership of things for usage in AEW, such as Bash at the Beach that is being used in January. In particular, he's looking for ownership of ideas that his father came up with. With all these classic names and plenty more up for grabs, it seems AEW fans could be in store for some very nostalgic experiences in the near future. Some bad news for AEW next though, as the company is being investigated by the Maryland State Athletic Commission. According to the Wrestling Observer, former WCW announcer Chris Cruz contacted the commission about the recent Lights Out match that saw Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley lay waste to each other at the Full Gear pay-per-view in Baltimore this month. According to the report, Cruz asked what the commission's rules were about blading and was informed that the state of Maryland bars all wrestlers from intentionally cutting themselves or introducing human or animal blood into the match from a third party. The commission also had a presence at the event and had a doctor assigned to Full Gear, but after the graphic nature of the match, was conducting a formal investigation. The lights-out match between Omega and Moxley quickly became notorious for the weapons used, as Moxley brought a barbed wire-covered baseball bat to the ring, while Omega used everything from a barbed wire broom, broken glass, a panel covered in mouse traps, and even a barbed wire-filled spiderweb. Despite Omega's array of weapons, it was Moxley who got the win, and though their feud seems to be over, the investigation into the match is just getting started. Since launching back in January, AEW has made it clear that they don't want to be anything like WWE, but in their efforts to avoid being associated with the PG product of Vince McMahon, it seems All Elite Wrestling may have accidentally gone too far. More SmackDown news next, as this week's show was the first event for the Blue brand since coming in second place at Survivor Series, scoring 2 points. Opening the event in Birmingham, Roman Reigns said he was thankful for all the fans and his peers that he worked with to win the Men's Elimination Survivor Series match, but made one notable exception. Continuing his feud with King Baron Corbin, the Big Dog called out the Lone Wolf to the ring, but Corbin instead blamed Reigns' ego for the friction on the team last Sunday, and after wisely opting not to face the former Universal Champion this week, decided to send Robert Roode in his place. Despite the skills of the former NXT and US Champion, as well as both Corbin and Dolph Ziggler at ringside, Reigns was able to defeat the 3-on-1 numbers game, and delivered a post-match beatdown on the Glorious One as Corbin watched from the ramp. In Cruiserweight action, Mustafa Ali's momentum has continued since he got his first name back, as he picked up a big win over former Cruiserweight champion Drew Gulak. This win was a long time coming for the Light, as Gulak had criticized Ali's performance at Survivor Series all week on Twitter, but fell short to the 450 splash. Between losing the Cruiserweight title and being left off of SmackDown's Survivor Series team, it hasn't been a good couple of weeks for Gulak, who should go back to the drawing board and his PowerPoint presentations to decide his next move. Up next, fans saw an appearance by Sasha Banks and Bayley, as the pair lambasted the women of Team Blue for losing in traditional Survivor Series match action. Of course, the pair didn't mention the fact that Banks was the captain of the losing team, and they didn't mention that Bayley lost in the main event, but they were reminded of this by the interrupting Lacey Evans. With her eyes set on Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship, the sassy Southern Belle quickly reminded the champ of her submission loss to Shayna Baszler, and when Banks got in her face, the boss was floored with a woman's right. As Evans left the ring, Bayley was left to check on her fallen friend, but it seems these two will meet in competition once again. In more women's division action, Nikki Cross defeated Sonya Deville in a decent win for the Scottish superstar. What happened next wasn't as fun for Cross, as both Deville and Mandy Rose ganged up for a 2-on-1 beatdown, which would have continued if not for the return of Alexa Bliss. The petite powerhouse last competed at Hell in a Cell, where she and Cross lost the tag team titles to the Kabuki Warriors, and despite yet another injury forcing her to miss months of action, Bliss showed no ring rust in her return. Planting Rose with a double DDT, Bliss and Cross stood tall on this occasion, and hopefully Miss 5 Feet of Fury will be able to avoid any more injuries. Though they may be down a member thanks to an injury sidelining Xavier Woods, the New Day were ready to put that behind them this week, and issued an open challenge for their SmackDown Tag Team titles. The 7-time champions were ready to take on all comers, as it was Cesaro and Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura who answered the call, flanked by Sami Zayn. After Zayn unleashed his criticism on Thanksgiving and Black Friday, the self-professed critic of the critics was all heated in the match, which may explain why he accidentally cost his team the win. With the referee distracted, Zayn tried to use the pancake tray of the New Day to help his team, but after being caught and ejected from ringside, the distracted Cesaro received a Trouble in Paradise from Kingston to seal the win. In our final segment of the night, Daniel Bryan turned to the WWE Universe to answer to the challenge of Bray Wyatt, but this may have been a costly mistake. After coming up short at Survivor Series, Bryan wasn't sure that he should take on The Fiend once more, but after asking the crowd whether he should take on the Universal Champion again, was met with a resounding yes chant. With the fans still chanting, Bryan clearly didn't have his eye on the ball as the lights went down and the Fiend emerged from beneath the ring to batter the Eco Warrior. Despite Bryan's attempts to stave off the Fiend, it wasn't enough to keep Wyatt from locking in the mandible claw and dragging the former world champion beneath the ring. Shockingly, this wasn't even the end of Wyatt's actions, as he later emerged with clumps of Bryan's hair in his hands. And though fans didn't get to see the extent of what the Universal Champion did to Bryan, it's clear that it wasn't good.